Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. Hi, Nick.
Hi.
We are back in studio with a guest that we've been so anxious to get on this podcast, Isabel Vitale, the founder of SIV Skincare and their Biome Balancing Serum. It's the first ever skincare brand to utilize, all right, you're going to have to help me with this, bacillus, spores,
Bacillus. Yep, you got
spores.
I like the way you said it, Mary.
Bacillus. That's
Yeah.
what I said earlier. And I'm glad I corrected myself. But now you just added me. So
No, I
it's
love
okay.
it. I love it.
No, it's okay.
cute.
Isabel, thank you so much for being here and being on the podcast.
No, thank you guys. This is so much fun. It was an excuse to come to New York, and I'm from Michigan. So
it was hard for me. I've been so excited about this that it was actually hard for me to go to sleep last night. 'Cause
Me
I
too.
I knew
too.
A, we're going to geek out today. B, we get to show you off to our community. And also, I know every time I speak to you on the phone, via email, or just watching your Instagrams, I always learn something. So I'm like, I am up for this and cannot wait.
oh my
No,
God.
it's
I love
seriously
that.
so true. When we introduced SIV to the Pacific Touch shop earlier this year, I know that you gave a big training to our whole staff and everything. When I tell you, especially you, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen often, let me just say, we do not add products to the shop like nearly ever. And you were so excited and were like, this is the
Mhm.
future of skincare. So I'm so excited to share with our listeners, with the community, just everything about, the skin, microbiome, SIV in and of itself. I feel like for me, especially as just, I guess, a lay person, like I'm not an industry professional. So I feel like I'm so excited to learn more about it because honestly, I still don't really know what it does. Like, I know it's like good for our skin, but like I want to know like even more. So I can't wait to get into it.
Well, that's amazing because if I recall, our first phone call, it was with, was
Yep.
it you only,
Yep.
or did you have someone else on the call
No,
with you?
it was just
Okay.
us.
And I remember you were like, this is what I've been looking for. And you were
Mhm.
like, if it works, because there's a lot of bullshit out there, but
Yep,
if
yep.
it works, this is going to be huge.
I have said we should print it on a t-shirt. Like I was saying to Mary, like I've been in this industry for 20 years. There's only been one other time in 2 decades where I've seen something that I know is going to revolutionize the skincare industry. And your product, when I saw it on paper, spoke to me so deeply. And I knew in my head, I was like, this is going to change the whole skin industry. And I roll with really heavy hitters as far as like my peers in the industry are very geeky, very serious estheticians, and everyone's talking about SIV.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to like get into the details today is great, but I look forward to just SIV getting out to more people, but also I have a feeling you're just going to keep adding greatness to what is happening because microbiome management will be the future of skincare. I know that, and I've always known it, but to have other companies coming in and supporting that with science-backed data and
Mhm.
products is literally a dream come true. Like you have created what I've wanted in my head for decades.
Yeah. I mean, and that's amazing to hear because when I was first making this, I had no idea really what I was
What you-
stumbling on. Like, it was insane.
Mhm.
I'm in my kitchen, like
Yeah.
literally making the product. And I'm like, I think this is genius. I'm like, but am I tripping? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
Because nobody's ever done that before.
Yeah.
But I just kept thinking about the gut. And there's so many parallels you can draw between the gut and the skin. Right.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
like the gut lining and the skin barrier. And then
Right.
those microbes in the gut and the
I
microbes
mean, that's
in the
what
skin.
everybody says, especially like I said, just as a consumer of skincare and acne care specifically for me, but I know just in general, like any kind of skin condition, everybody says it's like the gut to skin connection, the gut to skin connection. So I think that this is really going to like open some eyes. We're going to educate some people and I can't wait to get into it. So let's kind of take it back from the beginning. I know that we kind of started to tease because we're so excited, but as a non-industry professional, I know SIV is good for everybody. Like everybody that we have, a lot of our clients just are saying, let's get on SIV, let's get on SIV. But I'm not really sure why, like I was saying earlier. How would you explain SIV and the biome balancing serum to everyone, especially for people, myself included, who have really zero skincare background? or just are not one of you guys, the industry professionals?
Yeah. So everybody has a skin microbiome, right? And this skin microbiome, if you think of the skin, I like to think of it in two parts. I like to think of it as the skin barrier, which most people are familiar with, right? The skin
Right.
barrier is the foundation of all skin health. That's why
Mhm.
so many products focus on it.
Right. Especially now. I feel like skin barrier is like the talk of the town.
Absolutely. Now, the other piece of that, though, is the skin microbiome. And that's
Okay.
something that's not as
No.
addressed
No.
as the skin barrier. Now, we talk a lot about leaky skin. Leaky skin is similar to leaky gut in the
Right.
sense that when those microbes become dysbiotic, whether they be in the gut or on the skin, they erode the barrier that they're on. And so
Okay.
when your skin microbiome becomes dysbiotic, it starts to erode the skin barrier. So you can do all you want to the skin barrier, but if you constantly have this other half of the skin eroding what you're trying to do, those barrier-focused products, it's very hard for them to reach their full potential. So this is a support to any routine, any condition, anything that you are on that has some kind of targeted goal, whether it be prevention, maintenance, or trying to actively solve for something.
Mhm.
The skin microbiome needs to be considered in that.
And the microbiome, like if we were to try and use an analogy so the community can understand what it is like a community of bacteria and fungi and different things, right? And you have beneficial bacteria, you have some problematic bacteria, but it's your community. Like everybody has a different makeup, and then obviously there's different skin conditions that can come into play that sort of affect that, or environmental things. But if people think of it as like their community of potential supporters, or things that protect the organ that is skin.
Absolutely. I had an esthetician actually describe it to me as the living shield,
Yeah.
which it really is. Because you think of the skin barrier as your first line of defense, but the
Right.
microbes actually sit on top of that.
Yeah.
So the main thing with the skin microbiome and why everybody does need SIV is because the skin microbiome controls your skin's immune system. And so anytime we see inflammation on the skin, it's an immune response.
Uh-huh.
And so you can be working internally, you can be doing everything right to the barrier, you can be really kind of trying to dial all of that in, but without focusing on that skin microbiome, the signaling externally will still be wrong. So your skin is always coding for threats. It's looking at what's in the environment. Is something a true threat? Is it benign stimuli? Is it something that I actually need to respond to?
Uh-huh.
Because your microbiome's main goal and your immune system's main goal is to keep you safe, right? And so if you have dysbiosis in the microbiome, the skin microbiome, as it's signaling and kind of looking for those threats, it's not going to be able to detect what is a true threat versus what's benign stimuli. It's going to start to respond to everything because it can't take a chance and be like, oh yeah, there's benign stimuli, and then all of a sudden you get sick or something goes wrong.
Right.
So it has to respond to everything. Now, when it's dysbiotic, it's not going to respond to things that it actually needs to respond to. It's going to just respond to everything, and you see all of this inflammation on the skin. So that's where you start to see reactive skin. That's where you start to see leaky skin, where those microbes then start to erode the skin barrier because you see those pro-inflammatory markers start to pop up, IL markers, things that are going to essentially damage the skin barrier. But it's all being stemmed from the skin microbiome being set off by things in the environment that shouldn't actually set it off.
Sure. So it's
Which
kind
is
of
what
like
I always say with acne, it's like our follicles often are overreactive. Like when people are in a high state of inflammation, you know how Mary will say sometimes in the treatment room that people are reacting to things that really they shouldn't be.
right.
Like when
Yeah.
their skin
Like,
calms
especially
down and
our
gets
products,
stronger,
like they're so calming.
it's not going to be as reactive, you
Yeah.
know. Or a classic example is eczema. People that have eczema. You know, there's that almost genetic tendency for a person with eczema to have that overreactive skin that's just sensitive to everything.
Well, the thing with eczema, so eczema, if you want to kind of get into it, is characterized as an overgrowth of Staph aureus on the skin.
Yep.
Now, the reason, so if you're somebody that's not prone to eczema, because eczema is to an extent genetic. If you are somebody that's not prone to eczema and you come in contact with Staph aureus, you may get contact dermatitis, you may get some reactivity, something like that. Staph aureus is almost always a pathogen to some extent.
Yep.
It only lays, natural in the skin in about 30% of the population. The other 70% is going to react no matter what. Now, people with eczema, though, actually have a gene mutation. It's a filaggrin gene mutation. So the two main compounds in the skin that are missing in eczema are ceramides and filaggrin. Ceramides are part of that lipid matrix, right? So they seal in the
Keeps
skin
everything
cells.
protected.
And filaggrin is actually the glue of the skin cell. So you have both.
Okay.
If you're looking at like the skin barrier and you're kind of looking at a brick and mortar analogy, right?
Okay.
So the bricks are the skin cells, the mortar is the lipid matrix.
Uh-huh.
Ceramides make up most of that lipid matrix, 50% of that lipid matrix. So
Uh-huh.
that is disrupted when you have eczema.
Uh-huh.
Now, in the skin cells, in the bricks, you also have a lack of filaggrin, which disrupts the skin cell. So you're compromised in both
Okay.
aspects of those. Now, the reason that
I
those
like being taken back to school. I seriously am like, I need a pad and paper.
I wish I had a camera right now.
No,
'cause this
do you
is,
see my
this is
face? I'm literally
from
like,
the- From the
uh-huh.
start of what Isabel talking, this is Mary. Like the whole time, and I was
No,
laughing
literally,
like I
I'm
wish I could take a photo right now. It's so cute.
Right. No. Okay. Carry
Yeah.
on. Sorry.
So the reason that those two compounds are lacking in the skin barrier of somebody with eczema is because Staph aureus actually targets those specifically, and it uses it as food.
Okay.
And Staph aureus erodes your skin barrier. So eczema is essentially leaky skin on steroids.
Yep. Which is why our treatment in the past, before SIV was around, was about almost putting a protective skin on the leaky skin, knowing that it was leaky, which is why we
Can we
have.
define what leaky skin is
Yes. So leaky skin
and how
is-
you know, like, you have leaky skin or whatever?
Yeah. So leaky skin is essentially this kind of concept of when these microbes become dysbiotic, they erode the skin barrier. So
Okay.
you
Sorry.
see-
Not even to take it a step further, but what do you mean by dysbiotic?
So out of balance.
Okay.
So yeah, when the microbiome is dysfunctional,
Okay.
it erodes the skin barrier.
Okay.
So the
That is
signs
leaky
of that
skin.
would be things like
Inflammation,
redness,
yep,
flakiness, itchiness.
So, like, are eczema and
Dehydration.
rosacea and perioral, are those all signs of leaky skin?
Absolutely. And leaky
Okay.
skin actually tends to be a precursor to those conditions.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like when
So-
you first start seeing signs, it'll be
Mhm.
flushing redness, itchiness on the skin, visual flakiness,
Mhm.
all of the things where your skin is not functioning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
so to
crazy.
take it back to eczema, it really is this overgrowth of the Staph aureus. This is causing all these barrier issues.
Yeah.
And so to your point, usually the remedy would be to try and improve the barrier through some kind of topical
Mm-hmm.
solution.
Uh-huh.
But if you still have that composition of microbes eroding that barrier,
Yeah.
again
You're
with
just
leaky
in a
skin,
cycle.
it's almost impossible to actually solve for it. And so you have to
That's
get rid of
crazy.
that Staph aureus and eradicate that Staph aureus, not with a steroid
Mm-hmm.
or not with an antibacterial, because what happens with a steroid, it brings everything down, right?
A
Mhm.
So you're
steroid meaning something that
disrupting-
you would get from, like, the dermatologist or something.
Yes, which
Okay.
sometimes you need it. Okay, I'm
Okay.
not anti any of these
Yeah.
things. Like we can talk about hypochlorous acid and all of that stuff because I know those are very buzzy and very
Right, yeah.
antibacterial. And again, I want to make it clear, like I am not against any of these things because we're all here for things that work, and
Right.
sometimes you need that stuff.
Yeah.
And I get that. SIV is just there to kind of help supplement that and help to maybe restore what may be
Mhm.
lost in some of
Mhm.
these, different remedies. So when you use a steroid, though, what does tend to happen is it brings everything down in the ecosystem. So your immune system is suppressed.
Uh-huh.
Now, it does give a reprieve to the skin, right? That Staph aureus is lower. So the skin is able to kind of regenerate and rejuvenate itself. So you're using the steroid and you're looking at your skin and you're going, okay, this is looking better, right?
Uh-huh.
So what do we do then? We come off the steroid. Well, what happens when we come off the steroid? Nothing's actually changed. Nothing about the ecosystem. There's no competitors. There's no difference. So that Staph aureus is still there. It's lying in wait. You come off of that, and what happens? The Staph aureus and all those other microbes come roaring back. So you start to see this relapse of eczema. Now, sometimes we get it even worse because your ecosystem, your immune system is now miscalibrated because it's been dampened for so long. It
Uh-huh.
comes back and it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
And again, because its main function is to keep you safe and it can't take a chance and react to not react to something that it needs to, it's going to react to everything. So that's where we start to see things like topical steroid withdrawal,
Uh-huh.
dermatitis on top of the eczema, a worse case of eczema. So it does have this rebound effect, but it's because of the suppression of the microbes now coming back full steam. What you would want to do and what SIV is able to do is essentially create competitors on the skin, create diversity on the skin to help naturally outcompete what's going on. So then when that Staph aureus tries to come back, these competitors will stop it naturally.
Isabel, can you explain how SIV does that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the main function of SIV, the main mechanism of action, is quorum sensing. Now, quorum sensing, at its root, it's just cell-to-cell communication. So all of our microbes are doing this at all times.
Sure.
They're always
Yeah.
monitoring,
Yeah.
right? And they're looking at what is the critical mass for each microbe here. Now, critical mass is just the amount that each microbe should be at in an ecosystem. So when everything is functioning at its critical mass, that's when an ecosystem is balanced. We call it homeostasis.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So these microbes are always kind of monitoring. When the microbes sense that there is a disruption, something is wrong. So let's say that there is something that's undergrown, there's not enough of it. They send signals to that microbe to say, hey, there's not enough of you. You need to start growing again. So that microbe starts to proliferate. Again, the microbes around that microbe that's now growing are monitoring that growth, and they're waiting for it to reach the critical mass. Once it reaches the critical mass, there's more signatures that get sent. They're called autoinducers that stop that reproduction. And they say, okay, you're good, stop. That process is quorum sensing.
It's communication.
Yes.
Quorum sensing.
Yes. And that's why
Write that down, you guys.
That's why we want diversity, right? Because
You know, the other time that this is actually quorum sensing, and hearing about that is the reason I picked up the phone and called you.
Really?
It's the only time I've ever heard that being spoken about before was Rococo, which is what I got into a decade ago. And I've never heard it being spoken about before until you. And as soon as I heard it and understood that you understood the importance of that and how we can actually use things to enhance that communication or correct,
That's
I'm like
the
that's the
PT
connection
there.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
Well, the reason that quorum sensing is so important and why SIV is so unique is because the spore in SIV, so those bacillus spores. How did you say it before?
Bacillus.
Bacillus. The bacillus. Basically reads those signatures. So it looks at what's going on in this particular ecosystem. Everybody's ecosystems are different. Even though we have similar species on the skin, right? We see Propionibacterium, Cutibacterium, Staphylococci, Cornybacterium.
Gosh, rattle them
All
off.
these species. All these species are similar, but the concentration for each person is going to be different. So, for example, somebody with acne, they can handle less C. acnes on the skin than somebody who's not acne prone. So your concentration for
we
each
all
of
have
these,
C. acnes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's always been a big misnomer in the acne industry, that acne was just purely a bacterial issue, and that what you needed to do was use something antibacterial, blow all that bacteria out, and hey presto, your acne is gone. And it's kind of two issues. One, to your point, it isn't bacterial for everybody, or the level to which the bacterial, the sensitivity to the bacteria differs. And there's a lot of other reasons why people have acne, especially adults. And the other issue that I've always had, and this is why I adore SIV, is that for decades now, all we've done is just massively brutalize the microbiome by killing everything, good and bad, to kill the bad bacteria. But to your point about the eczema, and this is very similar to acne, the minute you go off the suppressant, you haven't fixed the communication. And so the person's still we are overreactive to acne causing bacteria, but we are supposed to have it on our skin, a level of it on our skin.
Absolutely.
Everybody does.
And what happens when you get rid of it is you can actually start to develop dermatitis.
Which is what we see in the treatment room all the time.
Yeah.
So many of our people that come through that have been on topicals for years come through with dermatitis, perioral in particular, reactivity, are told they have rosacea. And a lot of the time it's just being on topicals for such a long time has created another skin condition.
Absolutely.
Can you explain why that happens and kind of the story around that?
So we did some testing on this, actually. We had 2 acne participants and we did microbiome testing. So we swabbed their skin to actually see what was going on at the level of the microbiome.
Yeah.
one of our participants did have a very high concentration of C. acnes on the skin.
Uh-huh.
We had him on SIV for 2 weeks. We re-swabbed him. So we had a 60% relative abundance of the C. acnes, which is very high.
Uh-huh.
After 2 weeks, and there was no like actives or anything, nothing like actively trying to bring that down aside from SIV. This came down, the C. acnes came down to 13%. So a very big
Wow.
reduction from 60% to 13%. And we saw a
Wow.
big reduction
Yeah.
in lesions. Now, our other participant, again, looked like she had acne. What we found actually was that her C. acnes concentration, first of all, it only started at 14%. So only 1% higher than when his trial had ended.
Whoa, okay.
And then after the 14 days, her C. acnes only came down 2 percentage points.
Okay.
But her cornybacterium reduced by 100%. So the cornybacterium, which tends to be in drier areas, it's unusual to see a high percentage of cornybacterium on a sebaceous area like the face.
Uh-huh.
Her cornybacterium was actually what was driving those breakouts, and it was around her mouth. So what she was probably starting to get, which looked like acne, was actually perioral dermatitis. Now, if you would have put her on like a benzoyl peroxide, something that
Yep.
was bactericidal to the C. acnes,
Uh-huh.
what would have happened is it would have eliminated that competitor, and that cornybacterium would have shot up, and she would have had full-blown perioral dermatitis.
Okay, I'm
So
following.
when you eradicate that competitor, it throws the ecosystem off. That's why we're all about balance. That's why the quorum sensing aspect of this is so important, because we're looking at what exactly is missing in this ecosystem, or what is lacking in this ecosystem, or what's too high in this ecosystem. And now what strains need to be proliferated to balance that out.
And what's so amazing is that it's specific to each person, and the microbiome balancing serum does different things for different people.
Mm.
Whereas in the past, if you were using a 10% benzoyl peroxide and putting it on every single person, some people are going to have a favorable result from that. Other people are not. To have something that actually can individually will do different things on different microbiome is mind-blowing. That's where
Yeah.
my excitement
It's seriously
is.
so crazy.
Yeah.
So with all of this, I'd love to take it back even a step further for how you came into this discovery of just microbiome in skincare, how this could have treated all these conditions, and like what led you here. Because I'm like, so much. Like, I'm literally like, how did we get here?
It's so funny. Honestly, okay, like, again, I'm just a regular person. Like, I
You are
really
far
am
from
not,
regular.
Just a regular
literally
person.
just a random girl.
No, you're not.
No, I mean, I don't have a background in this really. I graduated in communications, but right out of college, I got a job working for CeraVe. And that is what got me into like the skincare realm. And I was
Okay.
in their pediatric department.
Mm-hmm.
And so these pediatricians were kind of coming to me as looking for some guidance of like, okay, in conjunction with the CeraVe, like, what do I recommend? Because sometimes they need a little more, right? So I was like, I don't know, like, I'm the rep, like this is not my wheelhouse.
Mhm.
So I honestly was doing research organically for them because I was like, I want to be able to help them.
Mhm.
And so I was really looking deep into these pathologies, mainly like eczema, dermatitis, because that's what we see a lot in babies,
Mhm.
right? We do see some baby acne, whatever, but I started to come across the skin microbiome. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, interesting. The skin has a microbiome. Who knew?
Mhm.
And this was probably in 2021. So a few years ago now. And so I was like, wow, that's so interesting. So I Google products for the skin microbiome because I'm like, all right, I'm going to recommend these in conjunction with the CeraVe. It's going to be great. Nothing came up really. It was like an oil, microbiome friendly, which essentially means it has no effect on the microbiome. So I was like, nobody's really got this dialed in yet. That's kind of weird. But at that point, I was like, whatever, I'm going to go on with my life. Like, it's somebody more well-suited for this is going to be able to like figure this out. Right. So by happenstance, I was listening to a podcast. It was the Skinny Confidential. I just listen to their podcast all the time.
Yeah,
I love
love
them.
it.
And Kieran Krishnan, microbiologist, is on there. And he was
Okay.
talking about these spores. And he was like, they're revolutionizing the gut space and they can do this quorum sensing and they're super resilient. And I just had like a weird thought in the back of my head, like, I wonder if these would work on the skin the same way that they work in the gut. So
So they were talking more about like the
In-
spores as relates to our gut.
yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so I ended up DMing him on Instagram.
Wow. Okay.
Like I just cold
Shoot your shot, girl.
DM'd. Like
Love
I
it.
was just
I
like,
know.
hey.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I just heard you talking in the Skinny Confidential, and like you're talking about the spores. I was like, do you have any research on how they might respond on the skin? So he answers insane, right? And we have a phone call, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like thinking about this, and like the spores are also found in the soil naturally, and so it's like kind of made sense to me that like they're not resident, which is an important aspect of SIV, that this is not a resident species that's going to engraft and colonize on the skin. This is something that's only on there for a short period of time, but changes the resident composition on your skin. You don't really want to add a resident because then you have threat of overgrowth.
Resident means
lives.
It's already there. Your body makes it.
Oh, okay. I see.
So it has all the natural resources if you were to add it to be able to survive. And then potentially, if it's opportunistic, it can overtake. And then you start to have issues that way.
Oh my God. Okay.
But it's a transient, so it can't do that, right? It's not going to survive on the skin for a long time.
Okay.
So he, takes my call, whatever. We start talking and he's like, you know what? Let me send you some spores and like you can start formulating. See what you get. I'm like, sure. So I ordered ingredients off of makingcosmetics.com. I ordered a little like crack scale to measure out the bacillus and I formulated it in my kitchen.
What did the spores look like when you got them?
They're powder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because they're like dormant.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought it was going to come in like a
That's
dish
when I
or
needed the
something.
crack scale.
Oh, okay. I see. Wait, that's so crazy. So then what did you do?
I tried it. So I like made a couple different formulas. I was very intentional with the solution that it was in. Because what I envisioned was essentially nothing getting in the way of the spore. I only wanted the spore to be the only acting agent on the skin.
Okay.
And so I made the solution very simple, right? Just so the spore could shine. And I wanted the texture to be like guy friendly, I was trying it on my boyfriend at the time and like he was like, this is too heavy. This is what I like. This is oily.
Interesting.
So I was trying to make it where like it didn't lay heavy on the skin. I knew it was going to be on compromised skin as well. So I wanted it to be really gentle that way. So I went through a few different versions of that, but essentially I landed on something that I liked the texture of. So then I tried it myself. I had pretty bad acne, like all on like my cheeks and my forehead and whatnot and whatever. And then I had friends that had acne, eczema, psoriasis, and we all saw improvement in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
So I was like, okay, can't be random.
Yeah. Right.
And again, like you got to understand, like as I'm doing this, first of all, they're like, you're insane. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They supported me like they're the best.
That's how all good things start.
It's so funny to like look back on now and see my like, I'm in my goggles, like doing it, whatever. And yeah, we just all saw improvement. And now coming to this point of like, it helps so many different conditions. And to see the before and afters is truly like mind blowing to me. Like I have a hard time comprehending it, to be totally honest. Cause it's insane that it came out of my kitchen and now it's out to thousands and thousands of people and it's helping so many people.
I remember actually hearing on a podcast a very well-known esthetician that has a whole lot of different brands whose toddler son has eczema, and she was talking about being able to soothe it but never being able to actually deal with it. And she used SIV and had amazing results.
Yeah.
And I think that was another thing too, is even though you say that you're a regular person, which I absolutely disagree with, I just feel like there are people that are innovative and that they can see sometimes professionals, we're so bogged down with everything that is traditional and what we've learnt that we're too scared to go outside of the box. There's not enough people, right? Whereas you're already outside of the box and your mind makes that connection, which a lot of us actually do know. Like that's the shameful thing really, is that a lot of estheticians understand there's a microbiome, but there just hasn't been that welcoming sort of dialogue from everybody to get together and say, how do we nurture it rather than just stay on this track of kind of essentially attacking it. Like that's always been the thing, right? That we deal with skin by suppressing the symptom or forcibly changing, not even the microbiome, really just the barrier, not understanding that, oh, there is this way and you found that way, but when you go to your page and see that all of the before and afters are professional estheticians, people that are, working with these clients and getting these results. It's just like phenomenal.
Has there been a
Yeah.
result that you've been just shocked by?
There is a toddler on my page. He's got these inflamed, like crazy. I have it pinned to my page because
Oh,
it's
gosh, I'll
actually
have to
like
see
his
it.
mom emailed me like in tears. Like she's like, I can't believe this works so well. Like we should like put it in here somehow.
Yeah.
It's truly like jaw dropping.
Yeah.
Where like he's just so inflamed and flaky
With, like,
and like
Eczema or
eczema.
okay.
It's
Oh, Mary,
terrible.
Yeah.
if you
The
eczema
worst-
actually is really bad in my culture, in
Mm.
Polynesian culture. So I've seen it like when a young baby
Mhm.
clawing themselves
Mhm.
and just and you as a mother sitting watching your child like when you talk about leaky skin, like the weeping wounds of very serious eczema are so destroyed. Like your child can't sleep, they're in agony.
Uh-huh.
You would do anything, and it's like
Yeah.
they can be covered.
Yeah.
So to actually
like-
find something like this,
It was his whole face.
Yeah.
Like it is insane
Yeah.
to see. Like your heart breaks for this kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then and his
course.
parents.
Uh-huh.
And then she said SIV was the only thing that
That's so cool for you too, because you, like you were saying, had a background with like working
I know. I
in-
love that it helps babies.
like, with kids.
I really do.
So at CeraVe, it was like working with
Pediatricians. So I was a
Oh.
sales rep, and I would go to like the
Oh, okay.
pediatrician's offices
Yeah,
and
yeah.
talk to them about CeraVe.
like what
Yeah.
a good, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, connection.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to just the SIV serum in general and as is. If we can like lay the ground for what's in it, specifically those bacillus spores, and how though so we use the serum, we put it on our face, but it's like, then what? Like, why are these spores so important to have? Obviously, it helps with the microbiome, but can you like walk us through?
Yeah. So the serum is very simple. It's squalane,
Uh-huh.
2 fatty esters, and the spores. That's it.
When I saw that ingredient deck, I was like, whoa.
Right?
That's
I know.
crazy.
I can't even tell you how many people like email me. Also, I have it on the website, you guys. I'm like, this is the full ingredient deck. And then
Yeah.
people email me and be like, what's the rest of the ingredients? I'm like, that's
Literally,
it.
that's it.
It
Yeah.
it is
That's
like,
it.
am I wrong in thinking that really it's not so much like, how a traditional serum is something that you want to coat on your skin and all of the ingredients are doing something? I kind of feel like SIV, I imagine it as the other ingredients are a vehicle that are just depositing this warrior
Mhm.
onto the skin, the organ, and it just starts doing its quorum sensing. Like it's not there to coat and change. It's there to like communicate, assess communication.
You're absolutely right. So, yes, you don't want to coat your skin in the serum. Like you said, a traditional serum, you want
Mhm.
to coat your skin. That's where you get the benefit. That's not the case with SIV.
Yeah.
SIV, you almost want to think of it as a topical supplement
Yeah.
where it's not laying on the skin. You're not feeling it on the skin. I often recommend to apply it to the hands first and allow even some of that carrier to absorb.
Mm.
Because that's essentially what the serum is a carrier.
Mm-hmm.
You really just want to get the spores on the skin, and you don't even have to
Right.
get them at every square inch because, first of all, they're going to move. They're going to kind of communicate.
Yeah.
All those microbes talk to each other. So it's not even like you have to get it literally all over your face. If you get it in the general area, like
Uh-huh.
you're going to be fine.
See, that's what's really interesting to me. And I've heard when we talk about the application of the product, like you can just press it into your skin and then like they'll all communicate to each other. So it's not a traditional serum where you put it all over and that's like the parts that are going to get the most hydrated or the benefits or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
the skin is then the spores go on your skin, and you can obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but they go on your skin and then they just like talk to each other in
They
the
quorum
microbiome. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
And help, so they can help fix like other parts of like
They're
your skin.
entering the group chat,
There you go.
right?
Mhm.
The bacillus spores are coming in. There's
Mhm.
already an existing group chat. Communication and
Mhm.
may be a bit wonky.
Yeah. If everyone's
so
fighting,
It's coming in
and they
to
come
like
in,
exactly
and they're like, hey,
So they're
relax.
coming
Calm
in to
down.
like balance everything out.
calm down the communication that's
Right.
already there in the group chat
Yeah.
without
So
changing.
okay, so if you put it on your face, then can it help with like KP or like things on your arms or anything like that? Or should you put it like directly on
So you should put it in the general area.
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
sure it would travel limb to limb.
Okay.
But what's interesting is like, so we have a few estheticians. I guess hand dermatitis is very common.
Because
Hand-
constant wiping your,
Yes.
Yeah.
washing your hands.
So I had a few estheticians that this happened to where they're applying SIV. They're not using gloves at this point. They have the dermatitis on their hands and they start to see it clear up because they're applying SIV to their
Oh my God,
clients.
wait, that's so
But
funny.
it's like on their hands.
Yeah.
So it starts to clear up their hands.
Two of our
too.
Estes have cured long time issues that they had. One had fungal issues on her chest that she just couldn't quite get rid of. SIV's taking care of it. The other one had back acne, and SIV moved the needle.
Wait, that's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
all of our Estes are
Yeah.
massive followers of
Huge
the
fans.
SIV train
Yeah.
for sure.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit with like the rise in eczema, perioral, all of those things. Why do you think we're seeing more of those cases just like in a general sense?
I think there's a few different things. I think it's honestly, from what I have seen post COVID, because again, this is all coming back to immune function.
Yeah.
I do think COVID changed our immune system systemically
Yeah.
and has made just the overall body more reactive. And I think our
Right.
body is still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing this
So true.
explosion since COVID of inflammatory skin issues. And I think it's really stemming from an immune problem.
Can I
Yeah,
add
I
can
to
see
that?
that.
Yeah.
I also think that because of COVID, there's a lot more heavy sanitization going on in gyms, in public spaces. People are a lot more afraid of surfaces and stuff. So it's also we are coming into contact with a whole lot of stuff as well. Because even before COVID, when the rise of kind of antibacterial soaps and people getting, and just more and more sort of foaming agents and
Right.
heavy cleansing agents coming into our everyday cleaning and even skincare,
Right.
that's kind of when skin went bananas,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's, a little bit of both.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, the environment that we're in is constantly shifting and changing. We're not in nature as much. It's really this, we're not being ingratiated with the same microbes that we had before.
Yeah.
We're skewing the ecosystem. It's partially some of the products that we're using. We talk a lot about stripping the skin and over exfoliation. Exfoliation really affects the skin microbiome. Daily exfoliation, even if it's gentle, because our skin has a natural cycle, right?
That's why I hate daily exfoliation, like cleansers that have grit in them or anything like that, even though they're pushed to a lot of, for acne and things like that. You just know deep down inside that's overdoing it. And skin's also in distress because it doesn't like it.
For sure. Yes. Because as your skin naturally exfoliates, with every skin cell, we lose microbes. Now, our bodies are good at replenishing skin cells. They're not as good at artificially replenishing microbes. So as we are accelerating the skin cell turnover, we're accelerating the amount of microbes that are being shed. Our skin cells are coming back, but the microbes aren't as much. And so we start to
depleted.
see, we're depleted. And so without that diversity, without the right resources, then you come back to this immune system overreactivity. You start to respond to everything. Your skin starts to skew one way or the other. You have an opportunistic C. acnes on the skin and it doesn't have the right competitors. So then it pops up even more and you start to see acne. Like they all have these kind of microbial ties and it all comes back to they're not in balance. They're out of
I
balance.
remember too hearing, and you mentioned that the bacillus spore is found in soil. I remember listening to a woman once talking about how as a society, and I can see it because this is definitely, say, my generation versus your guys' generation now and how you'll probably bring up your children. We used to roll around in the dirt a lot more. Kids used
it's
to,
so true.
now it's kind of like if I think about bringing up my daughter in New York City, I'm not letting you walk barefoot
Yeah.
on the pavement.
Mm-mm.
She's not picking up, when I was a baby, mum would have me on the grass while she was talking to her friends, and I'd be putting things in my mouth, and
Mhm.
we probably didn't wash fruit and vegetables as well as what we do
Yeah.
now, but
Right.
we consumed a bit more soil
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
probably had more bacteria.
Absolutely.
And we weren't as, I know definitely in my being brought up in the 70s and 80s, we were not near as conscious of, like wipes and wiping babies down every 5 seconds. And
Mhm.
I mean, I understand there's a balance. I don't think what we were doing were perfect back in the day, but I
Mhm.
do think we've kind of gotten almost over sanitized,
Yeah.
and it's had an effect on our health.
Well, and the thing is like this didn't happen overnight
Yeah.
either.
Mm.
Our bodies are very resilient.
Mm-hmm.
If we could actually see everything that our bodies were contending with, we would probably be amazed.
Yeah.
And the fact that, it took us this long to get quote unquote sick,
Right.
it's going to take us probably double that time to really get healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they are so resilient. And so to your point, like it is a different time, but it's not, yesterday we were doing it this way, today we're doing it that way. But
Yeah. It all
we're trying to come back,
Right.
And I feel like we're doing that in health. Like we went through an era of just overuse of antibiotics and things like that in healthcare.
Mhm.
And now we don't do that anymore. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's why I was excited when I met you, because I knew that the wave of how we care with skin is very much going to mirror how we now are doing health.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That we
I
will move
totally agree.
away from overdoing it with skin and start to respect and manage the microbiome
Mhm.
and look at ways to support the skin rather than fight it, so you can
100%.
sort of see it coming.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's so interesting, the parallels.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'd love to go back. I know we kind of like hinted at it a little bit before, but just specifically talking with acne and bacteria and the C acnes and all of that, because I know that a lot of skin healing, acne healing specifically, has been about like antibacterial or I guess like fungal. I don't know if that would like go into
It's
that
more,
and acne
yeah.
as
I mean,
well.
the emphasis has always traditionally been on bacteria and
Yeah,
oil.
right,
So the
right.
main ways that you deal with acne is you strip the oil
Mm-hmm.
or you obliterate the bacteria.
Right.
And those are definitely ways to, suppress the
Yeah.
symptoms to get people clear. And I say that like that because it's kind of when you take away the agent that's like stripping the skin of the oil or
Right.
obliterating the bacteria,
It'll just all
the
bubble
issue is
back
still
up.
there.
So how much acne bacteria is actually good to have on the skin?
It's different for everybody. It really is.
That's
It
so
just
true.
depends on how, like, essentially C acne sensitive you are.
Uh-huh.
And to your point about the oil too, like the microbiome really has a lot to do with the composition of the oil too.
Mm-hmm.
The thickness of the sebum or like how sticky it is, how likely it is to get clogged in the pore. Even sebum production
Yeah.
is heavily influenced by the microbes on the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, to go back to your original question of how much C. acnes is right for everybody,
Uh-huh.
it really is different just depending on
Right.
how C. acne sensitive you are and
Yeah.
what concentration for you triggers that immune system to then create that blemish.
Right. So then how can SIV help somebody with acne specifically, or I guess like that acne bacteria?
Well, it can help regulate the oil production.
Right.
And then it can also target, like, is the C. acnes overgrown? And then how much do we need to bring it down without eradicating it? So it's going to be able to balance it out through natural competitors. Because that's what we
So
saw in our
interesting.
study. Like,
Yeah.
in our second participant, it didn't eradicate the C. acnes.
Uh-huh.
If it would have dropped her C. acnes at the same rate as it dropped the first participant,
Uh-huh.
those would have been gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it went from
Yeah.
60 to 13 in the first one, and it went from 14 to 12 in the second one.
Uh-huh.
So clearly it was not targeting the C. acnes. It was like,
Right.
okay, maybe they're a little elevated. Let's bring it down
Yeah.
a little, but
Yeah.
let's actually focus on the real problem, which in her case was the Corynebacterium.
And the important thing
Right.
now is we know, like traditionally it was always, acne is a bacteria issue. Now we know it's an inflammatory condition.
Mhm.
So if it's an inflammation issue and there are problematic microbes that are causing reactivity and inflammation, by dealing with those and balancing those out and getting the beneficial bacteria up to where it needs to be so that it's protective again. Because ultimately, that is what the skin is, right?
Mhm.
It wants to
Mhm.
be your guardian angel. It wants to be your protector.
Mhm.
There are so many different things that are impacting on it. And I kind of see SIV as a mediator almost. Like it's
Yeah.
coming in, it's assessing the situation, and it's mediating and communicating or fixing the communication to get things back up to a level. And bacteria plays a role, but it is not the central
Mm.
focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And
exactly
the way
right.
that we deal with acne
Yep.
anyway.
And C. acnes is also like there's different species. Like there's some staph species that can be implicated in acne. Like
Mm-hmm.
acne is so multifactorial, and the main thing that I like to take away from that entire discussion is that the pathology of acne is being discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like misnomers about it that
Mhm.
now we're starting to see maybe are not the case.
Oh,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
The discussions that they will have 50 years from now
Mhm.
about the ridiculous way that we used to deal with acne,
Mhm.
say in my day, or even, lingering on now, is the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you start to understand what skin is, what it needs, you look at these conditions so differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the role of the microbes. I mean, we
Mhm.
demonized microbes for such a long time,
Yeah.
Mm.
whether it be
Well,
on
the
the
word
skin or inside.
bacteria itself,
I know.
and fungi,
It needs a
like
rebrand.
people don't
Mhm.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
but we also don't learn about it enough.
Well, we don't. And it's, I mean, on the skin in particular, the reason is there's a lack of research, really.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started this, there was hardly any papers out there. Now there's
know.
much more in the
Yeah.
last 4 years,
Right.
remarkably, honestly. But there's not a lot of research on it. And there wasn't anything that really was targeted towards it. Like there wasn't anything that could really affect it. So it's like, okay, we're doing all this research to what? Not have a solution. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not have anything that can actually help with this.
Yeah.
But now we
And
do.
my cynical self, and I say this on and off when this subject comes up, is when you see a solution, because that's what microbiome management is, a solution, you have to think to yourself, if I can see it, why is there not money being poured into helping the solution? And it's because money is made by not finding the solution.
Mm.
Mhm.
And Big Pharma is all about making sure that people stay on prescriptions and need the medications.
Mhm.
Going back to the eczema or even acne. I mean, I
Mhm.
was on some form of topical or medication from 13 to 32.
Mm. Wow.
I know now it sounds like a long time, but if I could go back in time, I could have helped myself in a couple of years.
Mhm.
So I would have saved myself, decades of medications, but that's a lot of money.
It is.
So there isn't a lot of it's the same in healthcare in general. There's not a lot of incentive to help people solve their problems and
Mhm.
keep people well because there's no money in that.
Mhm.
Mm.
So
No, you're
that's
right.
what, who pays for research?
Mhm.
Mhm.
People that want to sell topicals and suppressants and things
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
I was waiting how long it was going to take for you to bring up Big Pharma.
Because it's now this, like
No, I
when
know.
when the
When
lights
you-
go on
It's
about that,
It's so true.
and you start, I think too, things change when you become a mother
Hmm.
and you want things for your kids,
Mhm.
and in a soppy way too. The people that come to us at Pacific Touch, they are people I care about, and it's
Mhm.
like you start to realize, oh, it's bigger than
Mhm.
just, oh, people don't know.
Right.
It's that the
Yeah.
information, it's not so much necessarily it's all dark and sinister, like it's purposely being hidden, but there's just not funds being poured into
Right.
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
solutions.
Right. I know. And yeah, the brands are doing it, which then can almost look shady,
Yeah.
right? Because
Well,
it's
there's
like,
a
well, of
cynicism
course
because
you
it's
have,
not talked about
some
enough,
Right.
kind of, incentive to want to make this good.
Hmm.
So that's a whole thing. Yeah.
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 Well, I'd love to get into the future of SIV because I find it so cool, especially you as a founder of this brand, that you only have one SKU really in your range, like the one Biome Balancing Serum. So, what is the future of skincare in your eyes as it relates to the microbiome?
I think microbiome is going to become even more of a focus. I think it's going to blow up like the gut did. I think I see SIV really going to the moon with this
Yeah.
because truly, like, it is not a competitor to any product. You don't have to change your
No.
routine. You
Yep.
add this in. It's
Because
helped.
anybody can really take SIV.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. You can put it anywhere. So even like on the scalp, things
Yep.
like that, which I would love to make a scalp product. That's
Yeah.
in our pipeline.
I have a question about that. So
Okay. And then actually, I don't know when this is coming out, but we are launching an oral probiotic. So yeah, this was
Wow.
great. This reactions were insane.
Oh my God, we send that to me. Send that to us
That
immediately.
was
Like
electric.
seriously? No, like that's so cool. Oh my God, we
Yes.
need that.
So it's amazing. And it's got carotenoids in it, which is super exciting because carotenoids, the research coming out about that is actually being used as prebiotic.
Yeah.
So you're using
Yep.
SIV
To
topically.
feed the
Yep. To
probiotic.
dial in the good microbes, which are then
love it.
fed by this gut connection with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
carotenoids, prebiotic.
Oh my God,
it's a whole
obsessed.
system. And going back to what I was saying earlier, like, yeah, if you dial in the gut and the skin's not right, the signaling is going to be wrong.
Mhm.
Well, vice versa. If you dial in
Yeah.
the skin and the signaling is right there, but then when you do encounter a true threat, that message gets sent to the gut. If the gut's dysbiotic, that response is not going to be cohesive to what the skin actually indicated.
What
So
is
you're
it like?
either-
70% of your immune system is in your gut. So
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
crazy.
if your gut is not,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
the foundation.
And this probiotic that we're doing it's got amazing clinicals. The acne clinicals on it are seriously insane. It reduced acne lesions by like 80%. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
You take it for 3 months. That was like the course of the trial.
Mhm.
But it's amazing. And it's a probiotic because there's lots of probiotics out there, right? It's got 100% survivability to the gut because of those spores. And it's a perfect pairing with SIV. Like it's truly
Yeah.
something like
Oh my God, I'm
that
so excited.
everybody needs.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
speaking to my skin healing soul.
I love
Just
that.
The inside out
Mm-hmm.
approach
Right.
has always been our thing. But
It's
to
so
have
true.
companies that recognize and provide for that is
Yeah.
perfection.
What
Yeah.
other ways can the spores be applied to skincare products, and can we expect more SKUs from SIV?
You can, but I want to be very, I guess, conscious of the fact that, like, I know the industry is saturated. Nobody needs another vitamin C. Nobody needs another, like, Mandelic. Like, we've got a lot of these things
Yeah,
dialed in.
Sure.
So I really only want to make products that people genuinely feel are,
Yeah.
like, needed and missing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so cool about
so-
SIV, I think, is that it is the product that what we were saying, anybody can use. Anybody can add to their routine. And it's just for that balancing biome symbiosis. Is that the word? I don't know. Like
you got it.
I'm
You
really
got it.
trying to like get my vocabulary down after this episode. So anybody can really use it. So it's just about scaling that one SKU.
Kind of, yeah. Different formats, things
Of
like
course,
that.
of course.
Yeah, for the scalp, because you can use SIV on your scalp now, but it makes
Yeah.
your hair oily. So
Okay.
we're trying to work away, our way
Interesting.
around that.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe do some kind of cleanser. I don't know. We got a lot of ideas floating around.
Yeah.
But for now, the probiotic that's launching
I love that.
Next
That
week.
is
What,
so
next
on
week?
Monday.
Okay,
exciting.
cool.
That's launching on Monday
Okay.
Oh, this episode will go in after that. So
to our
this
top.
is good.
Yeah.
Yay.
So
Oh my gosh.
you guys can get that.
Amazing.
Oh, for
Well,
sure.
Isabel, this has been such an incredible episode. I mean, seriously, my eyes this whole time have just been like, like eating up everything that you've said.
I know.
cannot
I'm
wait
going to go back and just pause every couple
No,
of minutes.
same. I
and
literally was
check.
like, thank God I have to like listen back to this to like do the edits and everything because I will have a pad and paper taking notes and being like, oh, whoa.
That's
like
amazing.
all of the things that you've dropped have been
I'm
amazing.
honored, guys.
Where can everybody find you, follow SIV, buy SIV, everything? We actually do sell SIV on our shop, pacifictouchnyc.com. So
Yeah.
just so you guys know, listeners. But for you, where can we follow you and support?
Yeah. So the Instagram, I'm very active on the Instagram.
Yep.
As anyone who follows knows, I'm in the DMs. It's
Love
really
it.
me.
Love it.
Your videos, I'm always sending clients, if they have any questions, I'm like just sending links to
You
your
do.
videos. They're so educational. I feel like you're my soul sister as far as how much you value the education. No, that's what I adore most about SIV is that just the way that you're able to explain things is so valuable
Yeah.
to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for that, because that is really the intention behind the videos of like, it's providing value. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
just trying to like sell you the serum.
Absolutely.
I actually want to like educate you on like, what do we understand about the skin? What might be missing from what you're understanding about it? And like how SIV can potentially help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody is interested, absolutely go to SIV's Instagram. I adore it. It's just
I'll
value
link it in the
packed.
show notes and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
so that everybody can follow along, learn more about you and
Yeah.
support. Because like we've been saying, everybody can be on SIV. So
Yes.
thank you so much
Yep.
for listening to Skin Talk Tuesday podcast. We will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Thanks.